So this question says a circle is circumscribed around a square. So this is going to be a plug-in picture question because it's describing something that can be drawn. So I'm going to draw the circle. Doesn't have to be perfect, by the way. I'm going to draw the square inside the circle. Because I know it's a square, I'm going to just put these little markings here to represent that all the sides are equal. I'll even put the 90 degree angles in there as well. So a circle is circumscribed around a square. The side length of the square is 14 inches. All right, that's good to know. That means they are all 14s because squares have all sides equal. What is the radius in inches of the circle? So a radius would be the distance from the center of the circle to the edge of the circle. Just to let you know, we can draw that radius anywhere, and I'll do it in red so you can see it clearly. But it makes the most sense to draw it to one of the vertices of the square. Okay, I'm going to just choose the bottom right corner. I could have chosen really any of these. Any of these lines here would be a radius. It would not make sense to draw it across there and have it break through the square. So let me just erase this and draw it again so that everything is clear. So we have our circle, we have our square, we have our radius, and we know these are 14. All right, so given how this looks, I have no idea how to answer this question. But if I extend this radius to make it a diameter, I now see that what I form by creating that diameter of the circle is a right triangle. That right triangle has this side equal to 14 and this side equal to 14 as well, which means this is a 45, 45, 90 right triangle, right? This is an isosceles right triangle. Hopefully you understand why, right? So both sides are equal. That's why it's isosceles. And it also means that this hypotenuse is equal to 14 square root 2. So that is given to you on the formula sheet for 45, 45, 90 right triangles. If, of course, none of this came to your mind when drawing this right triangle, you could simply use Pythagorean theorem, where, of course, C must be the hypotenuse. And you can say, well, I have 14 squared plus 14 squared equals C squared. And what you will find is that C is equal to 14 root 2. That's what you'll find. So then we're still not done because we don't want the entire length of this hypotenuse. We just want the length of the radius. Well, the hypotenuse that I have here started off as the diameter of this circle. We know that the radius is half of the diameter. So we know that our radius is equal to 14 root 2 divided by 2, which is equal to 2 goes into itself once, 2 goes into 14 7 times. Therefore, our radius is 7 square root 2. And that's why choice C is the correct answer. So again, the trick to this question is understanding that the SAT typically does this. It gives you a description of a circle, talks about a square, but the real way to answer this question is by looking at this as a right triangle. So the more comfortable you get with doing that, when you see questions that are set up in this way, the faster you will be at finding these answers.